Before Humphrey, there was Marius Els, the man. Born and raised in South Africa, Marius had built his life around discipline, duty, and hard work. As a soldier in the South African Defence Force, he had been trained to handle pressure, follow orders, and face danger head-on. The military molded him into a man who didn't back down easily. After his service, he turned part-time to farming, purchasing a sprawling 400-acre property along the Vaal River in the Free State Province. This was a part of South Africa where the land stretched into wide horizons and the sky seemed impossibly vast. The flood and the calf. It was during a flood along the Vaal River that fate placed Humphrey in Marius's path. The young hippo calf, barely more than a baby, had been displaced from its herd, struggling to survive in the raging waters. Marius, seeing the animal's plight, intervened. He rescued the hippo from the flood, taking him in to recover. At first, the plan was simple: care for the animal until he could be safely released back into the wild. But days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Marius grew attached. He named the calf Humphrey, a gentle, almost comical name that contrasted with the creature's natural power. Humphrey stayed, and soon the idea of releasing him was abandoned. Marius believed he could domesticate the animal, turn him into something like a farm companion, a tamed soul who would live peacefully alongside humans. The relationship between Marius and Humphrey deepened quickly. He built a special pond for Humphrey to swim in and allowed him to roam parts of the farm. Humphrey's favorite treats were apples, and Marius delighted in feeding them to him, watching the massive jaws close with surprising precision. Marius didn't just care for Humphrey, he engaged with him. He would swim with the hippo, ride on his back, and even speak to him as though they were old friends. According to Marius, Humphrey would respond to his voice, and no matter how far he wandered, he would return when called. It was an extraordinary sight, and word of this unlikely friendship spread. Journalists and neighbors alike were astonished. Neighbors warned Marius. Wildlife experts cautioned him. Even casual visitors could sense the unpredictable edge beneath Humphrey's placid demeanor. But Marius dismissed these concerns, insisting, "Humphrey knows me. He'll always come when I call." To him, the bond was unbreakable. The fatal day. It was a Saturday afternoon when the tragedy unfolded. Marius was near the river where Humphrey often wallowed. No one knows exactly what sparked the attack. Perhaps Humphrey was startled. Perhaps territorial instincts kicked in. Or perhaps, after years of living close to humans, something wild and primal surged to the surface. What is certain is that Humphrey turned on Marius. In an instant, the gentle giant became a force of nature. He bit Marius, dragged him into the water, and attacked with the kind of raw, unrestrained power only a hippo possesses. Paramedics arrived later to find Marius's body submerged in the river, savaged beyond recognition. The man who had once ridden Humphrey's back was now his victim. The news spread quickly, both locally and internationally. Pet hippo mauls owner to death became a headline in newspapers and on television. Humphrey was shot dead near the scene, ending the strange chapter of his life as Marius's companion. Animal welfare advocates used the tragedy as a stark reminder: wild animals remain wild, no matter how they are raised. Dr. Lucy King, an expert on African wildlife, remarked, "We must never forget that these animals are governed by instincts that cannot be erased by human affection." Please subscribe for more.